So Hare Krishna to all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna to all. Hare Krishna. So which chapter are we in?
16 Mataji.
Sorry?
Chapter 16.
Divine and demonic natures.
Thank you so much. 16. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, Mataji, divine and demonic qualities. So in one line, what is the English meaning of divine and demonic qualities? What is our understanding of divine and demonic? Or if I ask a small child, sorry, Mataji.
Transcendental qualities.
Very nice. So if I'm going to ask a 3-year-old child, what the child will explain?
Angelic, like angel and Rakshasi.
Sorry?
Angel
yes,
nature
angel.
and
So,
the Rakshasi.
So basically it means good and bad. Angel is fine, but she will just say, good qualities and bad qualities. So it's all about it. So the good and bad qualities in the definition of Krishna is divine and demonic quality. Now, you may all be wondering, why should we know this list? So we have chapter 14, which talks about the 3 modes. The 4 modes are right, but 3 are material. And the 4th one is the Vishuddha Sattva, right? Above the 3 modes, which is transcendental. So why are we knowing this 3 mode? To understand who is belonging to the divine and demonic quality, and the combination of that makes someone, good or bad according to our definition. So first and foremost, now we know, but we need to see, for us now, our understanding is not simple. We need specific, right? So if I tell you, can you go to a shop and get me a green color dress? Now, tell sure, you go to the shop and you will call me for sure. You tell me green means which green? Is it dark green? Is it light green? Or is it this shade of green? Or, is it Ramar green? Right? So we have this whole confusion. So Krishna is telling, okay, don't be confused. I have already spoken to you in 13th chapter. I gave you 20 qualities. Even in Isha Upanishad 10th chapter, I gave 18 qualities out of the 20 qualities. I will give you the list of qualities, which are 26, so that you are clear. There is absolutely no confusion. And also I will, Hare Krishna. And more than that, I will also tell you which are the Asuric qualities. And this is not for you to react or to judge anyone, but for you to list mainly for yourself. How many divine qualities you have? How many you don't have? Add to it. How many demonic qualities you have? Delete from it. Right? So I will start this journey. Before that, let's start off with Mangala Charan. This is a very, very, it's like your, what do you call a mini dictionary or a book or a notepad, which has the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 26, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Asuric quality. Right? So for that, Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Snapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tatati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabhanusute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm waiting, I can't hear. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, you are muted, I think. You're not able to hear you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, okay.
Yeah, okay, now, Mataji.
Yeah. So, what do you mean by divine quality? What do you mean by demonic quality? How do you define Asura and an Asura? On what basis?
On the basis of activities.
Nature of activities defined by who, Prabhu?
Defined in the
Lord
scripture.
Krishna.
Okay, Lord Krishna, but did Lord Krishna come and perfect answer? But I'm little tuning. So where do I see Lord Krishna now?
In the Vedic scriptures.
Thank you so much. Perfect point. So all answers are correct. The correct answer is we are at PhD level, 16 chapter. So last three chapters to go. So therefore, this is where we tend to see. So let's pay our obeisance to Shishi Radha Govinda. Okay, there is air. So I've muted. So let's go ahead and see. So let's have a quick look of the 15th chapter. So does anyone remember what the 15th chapter is? Does anyone remember the 15th chapter? Does anyone remember the 15th chapter? What is it?
Yeah.
What do you remember when you... Sorry?
Ashwatha. It's a Ashwatha Vriksham. That's like a upside down is the material world.
Perfect.
And the correct form is the spiritual world.
Very, very beautiful. It's the Ulta, upside down banyan tree, right? So we are talking about an upside down banyan tree. And what happens is in the upside down banyan tree, we have Urdhva Moolam, right? So we are having this totally upside down. So why are we having this upside down banyan tree and what does it signify? What does the banyan tree signify? There's no right or wrong answers. Yes, Prabhu.
The real banyan tree signifies the spiritual world. The one it signifies the reflection signifies the illusion, but it consists of.
Very true. So the real banyan tree is a spiritual world. This banyan tree is a material world. And why should we be attached and how can we be attached? I mean detached. Sorry, we are so attached that word detached only is not coming from him. Hare Krishna. Why and how?
By living the fruitful activities of the activities that we do.
Okay, perfect. To come out and how? How can we detach ourselves?
By knowledge.
Detachment. By detachment.
Yeah, how we get detached? Knowledge, correct. Thank you so much. By the acts of knowledge, right? So we get detached. And transmigration. So I think you all have already answered the entire summary of 15th chapter. And what we've been doing is jumping from one branch to another in various body. But that's not the solution. We want to get out of the banyan tree, right? And get detached. So Krishna also talks about Purushottam Yoga, where he is the supreme maintainer, right? So we had this doubt. Purusha means whom, right? Mini Purusha we. So here it's very clearly Purushottam Yoga. Yoga means connecting to Krishna. Therefore, in this case, he's talking about Krishna as the maintainer. I hope we are clear, right? Is there any doubt? Anybody has a feeling Purushottam here means ourselves? No, right? Yeah, we are all mini controllers. Of course, we try to control here, but then no. So Purushottam Yoga, three shloka Bhagavatam. It is 16, 17, 18. What does it mean? What does the three shloka Bhagavatam mean?
The summary of Veda.
Summary of Veda, beautiful. So what does it say? You're right. So what does it say? And which is another chapter which has very similar meaning?
10th chapter, 8, 9, 10, 11 shlokas. That's
So
a summary of Gita.
Yes, perfect. And what does it say, Sandhya? Hare Krishna, Sandhya Mataji. I'm sorry, in between I'll forget Mataji.
Chatushlokas.
Chatushloka, yes, very nice. So what does it mean? So Chatushloka or this, what are we talking about? 4 shloka, 3 shloka, all that I understand. But what is the content? Does it tell us how to make gulab jamun? No? Okay, then what does it tell? What does it tell? What does it tell? Hare Krishna. So what does it establish? So Sambandha, Abhinaya and Prayojan, right? What do you mean by Sambandha?
Relationship between Krishna and living entity.
Very beautiful, Shobha Mataji, connecting, right? Complete sentence. Relationship between us and Krishna, right? And Abhijan, it is a process, right? And what is a Prayojan? What is a Prayojan? What does a Prayojan mean? Why do we do
Destination.
Sorry, Prabhu?
Destination,
yes,
Mataji.
perfect. Ultimate goal, right? Destination, right? So that is what it is. So now 15th chapter talks everything how to come out fine. But you know, the most of the time, right? What is very important is if I come to you and tell you, right? If let's say I'm going to take the name of Mohandas Prabhu, I come and tell Mohandas Prabhu, you must change. Okay, Prabhu, if we have to work together, you have to change. If you have to work together, you have to change. Prabhu will call me and tell, okay, Mataji, I'm willing to change, but tell me which one I have to change now. It's very confusing, right? So this is what differentiates. And last night I was talking about a teacher, a leader, and a speaker, right? A leader or a teacher actually tells where you lack, gives you feedback and corrects. A speaker will just tell, hey, I think you are not fit, and you move on, right? So that's why they say a speaker, they use this word. And a parrot is same, because a parrot will come and tell whatever you tell. It doesn't change, right? It doesn't, it will just tell the same thing. So it will only imitate. Like a parrot just talks, right? If you ask parrot to call Krishna, it will tell Krishna, 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 Krishna. That's it. But how much it means, no. Of course, it still becomes transcendental because it's Krishna. But if you choke the neck of the parrot, you know, it will start telling Keke only. Krishna won't come out. So same way, I have to tell Mohandas Prabhu, okay, A, B, C are the areas which you have to change, right? Or I give him a specs and tell that, okay, for this particular job, I need A, B, C, D. And for this, I do not need EF, right? That is called whatever you call blueprint or, you know, an Excel or an outline, whatever you call it. So Krishna is giving us this outline in chapter 6. Because we write, right? Whatever is within Vedas comes under divine, whatever is outside Vedas comes as demonic. So what is divine, what is demonic is a questionable point. So that is a point which we are talking about. Now I'm going back to this one, previous one, and I don't want to miss. Can anyone chant the shloka 15.15? Hare Krishna. Anyone? We chanted in the class also. Sarvasya Chaham. You can try, I can help you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, I can read.
Please.
Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivisto mattah smutir jnanam apohanam cha vedasya sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham.
Krishna, thank you so much, Mataji. You read, right? You saw and read, right?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Yes. Next time I would want you all to tell by heart. But thank you so much. Thank you so much in any case. But all of you, this is a nice shloka, so you should know. But slowly, it's not expected in level 2, it's expected in level 4. But my expectation is very high because you all have given me that, right? So every time, you know, you scale my expectation up. So you should not tell me, Mataji, your expectation is high. I will tell that you all created this expectation. You all only increase this expectation. So, Hare Krishna. So now transcendental qualities and demonic. There are 26 transcendental qualities, right? The divine quality. So we are going to see the list of 26 qualities. Before that, I just told you that 15th chapter described the banyan tree and the material world and the modes. Right? And we are talking about upper auspicious divine branches. And we have this extra roots which are ulta. These are roots are compared to the activities of the living entities, right? Some are auspicious, some are inauspicious. You know, the side, you know, we see on one side is auspicious, on the other side we see is inauspicious, right? So these are the branches, and 16. These are the roots, and the branches represent Austerity modes. And 16th also quickly jumps, telling what are the divine and demonic qualities which is required for us to elevate ourselves up. It also explains the demonic mentality which we should drive, otherwise we will be moving to lower planets. So simple. this chapter helps us to understand how we can either go up with divine quality or go down of the banyan tree, right? So this is a class where I'm showing you the banyan tree and I'm telling that there's two ways. We will all hold the banyan tree and climb. That's our ambition. But there will be somebody in the group who will tell, no, I'm going down. Or tell that, oh my God, I have demonic quality. What should I do? So we can tell that, okay, forget the demonic quality. Hold on to the divine quality and climb. Right? Snake and ladder. 16.6 is talking both transcendental and demonic qualities at one shot. 26 are the godly qualities, which is already described. Can someone read this, please? Hare Krishna.
Lord Krishna lists 26 characteristics of saintly people, qualities that elevate one on the banyan tree and ultimately lead to liberation.
Hare Krishna. Yes, somebody read this or you can continue. These are the 26 qualities. Please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So each quality we will understand and explain very beautifully and nicely. You read, Mataji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So we will start. So the quality and second one is Varna or Ashram. So you all know. So what is Varna and what is Ashram? What is the difference?
Varna are the four set of societies like
Yes.
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, and Sudra. Ashrama is the level on which we get cultivated. First is on Brahmachari, and then
Vanaprastha.
Vanaprastha is at last. Grahasthas,
Very nice.
Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. Sannyasa, Ashramas.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I wanted to take a quick revision of this because only then you really understand each quality. Right. So can I request someone to read the first one and then give a pause so that I'll explain that. Fearlessness. Abhayam. Right. Someone read. Bhayam means fear. If you add A, means fearlessness. Hare Krishna. Yeah, please go ahead.
Fearlessness. Description shall I read, Mataji?
So read the ashram also, no? Sannyasi ashram. First, yeah.
Sannyasi, first qualification for a sannyasi. Complete dependence on Supreme Lord's mercy, has to be alone without guarantee of support, convinced that Paramatma will give all protection to surrendered soul.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So basically, you'll be wondering, fearlessness, why should a sannyasi be fearless? Because first I feel like, what is there for sannyasi to get scared? You know, we always have this I factor. I thought I only will be scared. Sannyasi anyway has nothing to lose. But actually speaking, the sannyasi ashram, the sannyasa ashram needs fearlessness, because imagine, you know, most women can understand, men also I'm sure, but then why I use the word women is generally we have this tendency of dependency. Though we talk so much about independence, you know, we will always want someone to look out for us. Yes or no? Yes or no? So when you go on a highway, and even if we want to use a restroom or want to wash the hand, you know, always we try to take someone. And even if we don't take someone, we show off that, no, I can be independent, I can manage. Some part of us will be craving, is someone's you know, any of our family member watching out for us? Yes or no? Mataji, please. Nobody. I'm the only one who wants to watch out. All Matajis are bold and beautiful here.
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
S for watch out or S for bold and beautiful? Watching out, right? So we are, in a way, you know, we are constantly having some conscious or subconscious fear. Now, while I've kept the Matajis out, Prabhujis also have fear, right? They also feel, okay, job insecurities, you know, what happens? You know, there is a lot of fear which keeps working. Now, being alone is is something which is very difficult. That is why though everybody prefers long drive, they will always want somebody, right? The bottom line, we use the word company, but it's actually because everyone has this fear. Prabhuji's, the fear becomes evident when they get older, right? At the age of 30, 40, they feel 50, 60 also, but maybe once they cross 70, 75, 80, 85, they are, they get, very nice, right? So I used to ask my uncle, why? And now he said, no, I'm listening to auntie. I told, hi, yeah, I noticed, the things change. In many cases, Prabhuji become very obedient after a particular age. Why? Because, their dependency increases. They have a feeling, okay, now if I am the same thing and if I shout at her, maybe when I get old, this girl or this wife of mine can give it back to me, or she will not really care about me. That subconscious fear. And I'm just sharing what some of the Prabhus have told. So forgive me, Prabhus, if it is otherwise for you all. So here that fear is something which is dominating, and therefore completely dependent on Krishna removes this particular fear, right? And this is an example because sannyasi, we all read in Ashtanga Yoga. He goes alone, he travels alone, he does not travel with anybody. And this is at the age of 75, right? And so he knows that Paramatma gives him all kind of protection. He doesn't normally carry a cell phone, or he doesn't carry a lot of people around, right? So that is what it is, sannyasa ashram. So now next one, Hare Krishna, is second. Purification of one's existence. Sorry, I should have done that. Sattva Sashu Diyu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Sannyas.
Yeah.
Strictly following rules and regulations, especially forbidden intimate association with women. Example, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally very strict. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu punishing Chota Haridas.
Yeah, so much. Strictly following the rules and regulations. They cannot deviate. So there was this person called the Chota Haridas Thakur, and he was a sannyasi with, in the ashram of, in the same place where Chaitanya was there. And he was a little, sensually attracted to a lady. And Chaitanya noticed this, and he really never saw his face after that. And Chota Das Prabhu, everybody told him, okay, he did a mistake, let's forgive him. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept him at all until he died. And he said it is better because he'd at least attained, reached salvation. But what happens? Or he will be born again instead of being here. So, this act of Chaitanya seems very rude from outside. But on the contrary, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for his grasta, a devotee, he even did the naming ceremony of his child. So it's very conflicting, right? One side, he is not bothered about his own sannyasi member who's committing suicide, whereas on the other side, his devotee he is giving them this. So all this is because of the fact he is in the role, right? He says, play the role, right? 3rd chapter Bhagavad Gita, we all read, Pratyahara, which means that if you go to the forest, you better do. Like Ekam Vada, when Arjuna is asking, he says, if you're a big actor, which you will be, because if you go there, you will have the tendency, if you see some adharma, you will immediately take whatever comes to you and attack, because that's in your blood. And you will become a Mrityachara. But in the 5th chapter, he says, okay, both are right, but this is difficult. So same thing he's telling, you are therefore going to not just be a drama in that, you're not going to be a drama king or a queen in that role, but act the role. So nobody is forcing you to be a sannyasi, but if you are one, then be it. So be it. So there are many grahastas also who come to ISKCON and ask Prabhu, and Namanishta Prabhu used to tell, they used to come and tell, can I become a sannyasi? Why, Prabhu, very difficult to manage my wife, Prabhu. So, that's not the purpose of sannyasi. Right? That way, even many times we want to run away, which we read. But the idea is to be really humble and want to be in love with Krishna. Right? So sannyasi is not to give up the present, not because it's a headache, but to get to Krishna. Right? Go on to the 3rd one, Hare Krishna. The 3rd is cultivation of knowledge, which is Jnana Yoga Vyavastito. Hare Krishna. It's sannyasi ashram again. Hare Krishna, please.
Hare Krishna. Duty of a sannyasi must cultivate and give transcendental knowledge, especially to householders. Humility begs from door to door to awaken Krishna consciousness for others. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
Yeah. So what is cultivation of knowledge, right? It's a duty of a sannyasi. he must cultivate and give transcendental knowledge, especially to the householders. And he should have humility, right? Because it is not easy to beg door to door. And you may tell, okay, he's a beggar. But all the sannyasi, if you go back and see Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami, they come as billionaires, right? Because those days they had 1 lakh gold coins in front, more, they had one full ship of gold coins. Even in today's day, he would be probably one of the richest person in the world. But during those times, you can imagine what is the position, right? So he will beg door to door for the mercy. That is the speciality of the ashram. And another one is charity. So what is charity is talking about is dhanam, right? So so sannyasi clear, right? So he has to have that humility in him to go and beg. And it is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not stay beyond that moment, only till the milking of the cow. Not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sorry, what is this guy what is our guru who told this to Pradikshit? What's his name? Sukha Goswami. Thank you so much. Sukha Goswami will go and stay only till the milking of the cow. So that's the speed at which he travels. So that's the point. And during that time is when they will reach. Charity, dhanam. And do you remember that we read, we haven't read, but we will read that it clearly tells that dhanam, charity should never be given up, right? No matter what, charity should never be given up in any ashram. Even at the remotest stage, charity should be given, never be given. And many people tell dharma is charity. Dharma is religion, charity is dhanam, right? And it is mainly applicable for grihasthas because sannyasi won't have this in the receiving it. And please go ahead, Mataji.
A charity given in the mode of goodness, right time, place, and person. Spend 50% of their income to propagate Krishna consciousness. Charity in passion and ignorance is a waste of time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, very nice. So basically, what are they telling? They are talking about you should give it to the right person. So charity, it seems somebody was giving in charity BD, yeah, cigarette, right? BD. So BDs were given in charity in one place. Is that the right charity? That is also charity. I'm spending money. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Prabhus are silent, so I thought maybe BD charity is allowed for Prabhus. No problem. So it's definitely, that's not the right charity. Same way, many of us think that we can give a sumptuous meal to an orphanage and we give biryani, mutton biryani, right? So, and we are very happy about it. We are really happy. It's not we are proud, we are happy. But the fact is, imagine in the process, you kill a lot of animals. And in the process, you also offer in charity a meal which will only fill the tummy of the child for one time. Instead, if you give prasad, you are actually elevating the child unknowingly, right? It will be a transcendental elevation. So that is the best part of the charity, right? So that's the beauty. So charity given in the mode of goodness at the right time and place and the person is what is very, very important. So, so what happens is spend 50% of the income to propagate Krishna consciousness. So they will spend 50% of so what we are supposed to do, I'll tell you. They say, Rupa Goswami has very clearly mentioned here in the Nectar of Devotion how the percentage of charity will be. So 50% is given for Krishna conscious activity. Out of that, the balance 50%, 25% are given to the relatives who are in need of money, and the balance 25% is kept for us. Right? This is how it is done. In fact, even Muslims, I think they have a percentage. I don't remember what 2% or 1%. I don't know. Every year they give on charity to poor relatives, and they still follow. Okay, this is there in our dharma. We keep fighting religion, we keep fighting, but we don't follow the principles, right? So this is what it is. So this is what is mentioned. Even in that, 50% which is allotted for Krishna thing, they say 20% you give to the temple which is close by, or whichever temple, because temple development is a vital part, and that encourages people close by to come to the temple, right? So you give to that temple. And next one is self-control, dhamma, all especially grihastha. Right, so self-control is dhamma, which is grihastha thing. And please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Self-control, dhamma, all especially grihastha. Especially sex life should be used only for propagating Krishna conscious children. Bhagavad Gita 7.11. Hare Krishna.
So basically, we have already read that in Krishna gives us a set of qualities, right? In Vibhudis in the 10th chapter, he lists, right? So of the 80 qualities which he lists, he talks about that. He also says that he is part of it when it talks about regulated sex activity. So he says it should be used for propagating Krishna consciousness. So damaha, so self-control. So it should be the children which you beget should be Krishna conscious children, so that becomes a duty of a parent, just like anyone, right? What is the rule of a parent? It's not just enough if you have a child and throw the child in the streets. We say that, right? So that's exactly what it is meant here. And sacrifice, Grahastha more, but what do you mean by sacrifice? Before you read, Mataji, can someone tell me what is the present level of sacrifice? What is the present sacrifice which we are doing now? What is the yagna we are doing now?
Japa yajna?
Japa, correct. Japa, perfect. That's called Sankirtan Yajna. You can tell boldly, Mataji. So all of us one time. This we should not have a doubt. What is it? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you so much. So, please go ahead and read. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Sacrifice yajna, grahastha requires material resources, Agnihotra yajna. Therefore, especially for grahasthas, Sankirtan yajna is the best, most inexpensive. Anyone can do. No qualification required. Highest benefit. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I always want to tell this. Do you all like imported goods? I used to love imported goods. I've told you all this earlier too, right? So we all like imported goods, and this is imported from where? Not just from abroad. It is imported from Goloka Vrindavan, right? So we should rightly hold on to it, right? So nice, imported Goloka. So every time, when you are, especially when your children and all ask you, tell, I'm doing this, it's imported, right? So when you tell this cloth is imported from abroad, it's not, but I'm just saying, people get excited, right? So you should tell, hey, this is also imported from where? It's from Goloka Vrindavan. So it is technically imported, right? So we don't have that here. So that's the speciality. So, and this is the most inexpensive. So we don't spend anything. You may tell time, but then you get more benefit, right? So we always have to spend time, but time also expands. This is the speciality of Grahastha. And Vedic study is Swadhyayas, right? So Brahmacharya, student life. So what are we talking about in Vedic study is Brahmacharya, student life. It is recommended for Brahmacharis is celibacy and engagement of mind in study of Vedic literature. So recommendation for Brahmacharis is celibacy and engagement of mind in the study of Vedic literature. So are we clear? So this is the Brahmachari, which is the student life. And what is the recommendation of the Brahmachari is celibacy. What do you mean by celibacy? Is remind me, I will tell you a story if I have not told. Have I told you the story of Dhruvacharya? Not Dhruvacharya, of Krishna and what is it? Yeah, of Krishna in Goloka, along with I'm not getting the name of the sannyasi. What is the name of the sannyasi along with Amrish Maharaj?
Durvasa Muni?
Durvasa Muni. Thank you so much, Mata. Yes, Durvasa Muni. So I think I'm really suffering post-COVID syndrome, which I keep telling, because suddenly I keep forgetting a lot of things in between. Thank you so much for the heads up, Mata. Hope I get that little bit of memory which is lost. So Durvasa Muni, good. I really forgot this person. Have I told you the story?
Yes, Mataji.
I've told. So can you relate to the story? So what he said, how Krishna is having a celibacy. So that is one. And here, so that is applicable. But more for student life, because celibacy here, they are strictly talking about not just physical, but also mental. Mentally also, you don't think of anything, wrong. Even cracking a vulgar joke means breaking the celibacy, right? Which is a highlight. If you see today in the world, they say, oh, this is like the, this is the topic. And every word they use, which is very abusive, also is around sex, right? So that is what they say. So celibacy means they don't even think and they don't talk, right? So that's the speciality of the celibacy. And now coming to austerity, Hare Krishna, tapaha.
Austerity, tapa, all especially vanaprastha. Human life and therefore Vedic culture is meant for liberation. For that, tapasya is a must. One must retire after household life approximately 50 years of age. Austerity can be of body, mind, and tongue. Refutees: show bottled spiritualists who say that there is no need of austerity in life, and one can go on speculating such philosophy attracts many followers. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we saw this. I always keep telling nectar of instruction, first mantra. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jibva vegam, mudro prashta vegam, etan vega vishe sunira sarvam apiman shishyat. So that means what? Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam. So 6 austerities, and each of it pertaining, all 6 comes within the austerity of body, mind, and tongue. I told you all very clearly, 3 things should never be given up. One is charity, another one is sacrifice, another one is austerity. But some of the spiritualists say that you can leave it. If you're so elevated, don't bother. You can give up on everything. But are we, first of all, so elevated? That's $1 billion question, right? And next one is simplicity, Arjavan. This is something which is straightforward, simple and straightforward, which means that you're so simple that you can disclose the truth even to an enemy. Example, right? So beautiful. And non-violence, ahimsa, is talking about not checking progressive life of the living entity. You know what are we talking about in non-violence? Non-violence, we are talking about total ahimsa. Not only physical violence, but also mentally thinking bad. And that is also considered to be violence. And also not giving Krishna to your soul is also considered as violence. It's called Atmaha, right? This is in Isha Upanishad, 3rd mantra, it says that. Asuya namate loka andena tamasavritah tamste vegya vigachanti eke atmamanojanaha. So what they are talking about, right? Atmaha means pillar of the soul. So if you Krishna to the heart, you will become Atmaha. Is so clearly given. Truthfulness is Satyam, right? Satyam is is true, right? It's you're being honest and true. And we have seen this also with Harichandra, we've seen Yudhishthira. All of them are so true, right? And they will never distort truth for personal interest, right? They have so clear in understanding. And this truth becomes very important, especially if you're in the Brahmana. It's applicable to all, but especially Brahmana Astra, because this is very important. And today, many of them misinterpret the Vedic literature. So all instructions are wrong. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for reading. I will tell you when the content is big, otherwise I'll just explain and run through. Freedom from anger is akrodaha, means that even if you're provoked, right, you have to be tolerant. So this is the shloka which Krishna talks about tolerance for the first time. When does he talk about tolerance for the first time? Which chapter? There's shloka number, whichever you pick. Can anyone right or wrong answer? You can just
Chapter 2, Mataji.
So nice. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Chapter 2. Matra spashtashtu kaunteya sitoshni sika dukkadaha agama painos anityas samstik shashvata parada. So what is it? Samshikshvat means like you have to be tolerant. Doesn't matter. You just tolerate. Is what he says, right? And renunciation, tyaga, right? Using things properly, that is in Krishna's service. This is only tyaga. Tyaga means not running away to the forest, but to utilize Krishna's things properly is what is mentioned as tyaga. Hare Krishna. Next one is tranquility. Tranquility means unaffected by the disturbance, emotions, peacefulness, and equipoise. Right? Totally. Example, can someone give me an example of what is it? Tranquility. Santir. Can someone tell me an example of, in fact, for renunciation, we can think of Prabhupada. You see, he used everything, flight, books, mobile, laptop, every bit of it he would have used. But everything he did for Krishna's service. Buildings, right? Churches, he got them into ISKCON. All this he did. But why? Everything is for no purpose. Tranquility. Unaffected. Whatever happened, it doesn't affect the person. So what is that?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is someone who is so soft and very undisturbed. But it's a great example, Prabhu. Perfect. But I'm sure others will tell. Now he is God, so I'm not going to take that. But yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one person. One more person is Prahlad. Prahlad, right? He was like really not affected at all. He was equipoised. Father tortured him, tormented him, but he was very peaceful, right? So that is an example. So now on, I'm going to ask you all examples so you can stay alert. And a question to fault find me. It's called Apaishunam. To call a thief is okay, but no necessary fault finding or correction. Even correction, unless you're in the stardom, it's not required. This happens at every stage, right? You tend to find fault unless you have to correct, right? So suppose I told you, right? Suppose I expect something from Mohandas Prabhu. Yes, I can tell him. Yes, Prabhu, can you please add this? It's perfect, right? But that is correction, so which is fine. But then if I'm going to tell Prabhu, whatever you did is right, but there will be some of them who have this tendency that if the but is not given, then the sentence is not complete. Have you come across people? Whatever you tell, I still remember my cousin telling me that, one of my uncles, he was telling that he said that everything is nice about him, but he can never end a sentence without a but. I suddenly recall. So he said that one day I went and I got this beautiful watch, right? And I showed him, uncle, how was this watch? So we say nice, like it or not to say. He said, I spent. So he said that it is nice, but it would be nice if the stone was there. So he replied telling, yes, it would have been nice if the stone was there. And I would have bought that if the stone was there. But unfortunately, when they made this, they did not keep the stone there. So he said, I'm just giving a very small example. It's not a fault finding, but this is the mentality which evolves around, right? So everybody has fault finding. That tendency is, is so nice that something without even knowing, right? So that's the tendency. So my cousin, she was here and she had come for a while with her child and she had some challenges with her husband from US. And, so when she picked the call and when she was talking on the phone, I noticed a lot of my relatives were they were ear dropping to check, and nobody could have heard what it was. And then and I knew, right? I knew it was her childhood friend, and everyone started talking back. Many of them started telling, I think she has a boyfriend. I think maybe she has a relationship. I think something is there. And that's why she fought, so much of makeup, so much they made it. And none of this is true, right? None of this is true. So, and at least those days, it is only applicable if it is opposite gender. Today, it's even more risky, right? So even if you talk to your own gender, they start wondering, maybe something is wrong with her or them. He's talking to one boy for a very long time. Something is weird about him. Yes or no? Have you experienced all this, right? So this is the kind of gossip. And I'm not, everybody tells that it is in the Matti, it is in outside of the devotee association. But what I'm telling is, I would use the word, it is outside of the true devotee association. Why I'm using the word true devotee is because many of us are in neophyte stage. We will have this tendency. So there was one Mataji who in fact told me, Mataji, nice Mataji, but this person is going with so much makeup to the temple. I said, good, because the person has the habit of makeup, fine. But at least the person has a sense that I will wear the same makeup to go to the temple, because that means that they're giving equal importance, right, to temple also. What is wrong if you're used to a makeup, right? Then I would consider, see, for example, if you ask me, I can wear makeup once in a year. Okay, and I will not wear it for a temple. I will wear it for a wedding. I will appreciate the other person who's wearing makeup even for the temple, right? Amazing. So why I'm telling you is people have this tendency to keep judging, fault finding. It's so much within us, it's natural that we don't even know we are fault finding. And that is why Krishna has to be told. So what, yeah? I just told her, yeah. So what is the big deal? This is the attitude we all have, some way or the other. So this should be reduced. And I have seen a lot of devotees who actually have come and told me, Mataji, I used to go in this crowd, my relative or friend, but now I'm reduced because they only go into bitching. They only keep talking bad of people. It's the same crowd, it's the same family, it's the same relative, but then you start noticing. And that's why Krishna has put it. And that's why we need to read the Vedas, right? Hare Krishna. So we are moving on to the next one. This is called the compassion daya, right? And gives spiritual knowledge, right? Which I told you, biryani, instead you give prasad, the guy gets elevated. Now charity, we can, Minister Prabhu always says books, instead of giving in charity, please make them buy, because then only they'll know the value of the book. It seems somebody gave Bible in for free and they don't even use it. They just use it as a paperweight or junk. So Bhagavad Gita any book should not become, it's a holy book. So it should not make it unholy, right? So that is important, right? So give holy name, Sankirtan, you don't lose anything. Give the Kirtan, right? Teach everyone the Sankirtan Naam. So that is so important. And how can you teach? By practice. So this is one small thing which I coined. And I have, we put this OMG, oh my God. Anybody with me, or everyone has exited the group mentally?
Yes, Mataji.
Right, so I've told
OMK.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so much. So thoughtful, you remember still. And many my message, we've started OMK. And now I notice that many of them ask, what is OMK? Right? You get a chance. So you're teaching. Do you understand that preaching is coming? So of course, I never had the idea initially when I said that. But I just thought, why should we put OMG when we know Krishna is God? So we will replace it with OMK. But many of them told we had a great opportunity because when we wrote OMK, they said, what is this OMK? So I said, oh my Krishna. Oh, they said, oh wow, that's so nice. And many of them wrote back telling, so sweet. We thought we will never use this because I've always felt craving that, when I've interacted with Muslims, they say that, Inshallah, they are so proud, but we never use the word Krishna, right? So this is making me feel so proud. So why is that feeling coming? Because deep inside you want him, right? It's just that you have not explored. You see something, you see, wow, right? Abhuda, right? You say that you feel like so excited. Why? Because some part of the heart wanted it, but you've not seen it. And why do you see when you see Switzerland or so, you're so excited? Because you relate Krishna, you see that happiness. All of this is there in the spiritual world. So it is not that you're just seeing it for the first time. It's like you're rediscovering your past memories, right? Same way, when you see this, you're so excited. When you hear, you become excited. Even if you're in the angry mode. Narayana, doesn't matter. Tenali Ramaya, doesn't matter, right? For fun. When you tell, it becomes good. So, you will find some way. And in some way or the other, you find the holy name. And some way or the other, you reach it out. You are actually preaching. So preaching does not mean coming in a classroom and teaching the way I am. But even this means preaching. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, I'm taking a lot of time because this particular chapter, I feel this is the most important because you understand the divine qualities so that you can give away that, increase more of this. Then we'll think of working on giving up. Because working on giving up is not in our hand. That Krishna will take care. We will help, we will do our endeavor, but we need Krishna's mercy to get rid of it because it's like really born with us. It's so old, right? But adding qualities are easy, like buying one more dress. Okay, easy now, so we can add one more. So that now freedom of covetousness, right? Alolukam. Covetousness means, basically creating. All this is what it means. So you have freedom from that. How do you get that freedom? Charity and renunciation. The moment you start charity, your mind will start thinking. If you feel you are not using something, automatically your mind will think, will this be of use for somebody else? It automatically starts working. So, even in a family conversation. So I was talking and, we were all chatting and my mom was telling there was somebody who is traveling and they are going to give microwave at 25% cost. So my mom told, what are we going to do, with that? And my daughter was telling, maybe, she immediately told, if you have money, do you want to pick that and give it to the orphanage your friend is running? Immediately mind works. You understand what I'm telling? So automatically, okay, even if we have the mind doesn't take, can you do that? Will it make sense? Right? So the thought of charity goes on. You do or not is different, but at least the thought starts off. And everything starts with thought. And gentleness, right? Friendliness to all. When I say living entities, not human entities, right? So it's whether it's a dog or a cat, Mardava, you have that, gentleness mentally. And modesty is really, right? To perform any abominable actions and be very modest. Don't get into any of the activities, right? So that is Achapalam. I will mute. So Achapalam means that you are steadiness. Example is us. Many times we do chanting, right? When we hear a bad news, we'll forget it here. Already, I should have got promotion. Let me drop chanting. Or, I'm feeling a little lazy. Can I get up, skip chanting for today? So all these are, people which stop us, right? So basically frustration, agitation in the efforts, right? Regardless of people. Prabhupada has been preaching ISKCON for 40 years. He didn't succeed, but he still went, right? Ramanuja Prabhu was telling that he was teaching for 2 decades straight. But now suddenly, because of COVID, quickly a lot of people have gathered, but he never stopped preaching. He was doing it for 2 decades. And now with just the online stuff and the kind of donation which is going, he's building a temple, which was his 2-decade dream, right? So that is steadiness. You keep going bigger, Teja for Kshatriya. Okay, so now quickly, I'm just going back to the previous, the first, first 3 mainly for the sannyasi ashram and majority are for. Why they tell for Kshatriya is because protection is very important and therefore not to cause violence, like how Arjuna said, I will come out, is wrong. And I've told you all, we are in the battlefield. Imagine our family, children, all you're carrying in the war, and your commander-in-chief says, I don't want to kill the enemy. How do you do that? Right? So that is what it is. Forgiveness, you'll be wondering why Kshatriya? Because it needs a heart. not have power. Being humble is great. When you have power, why do they say that a husband who's kind-hearted is, people are very excited than a wife who's kind-hearted? Because husband has the power, right, to control. And if he is kind-hearted, it's greater. Women are generally on the soft side. The guy who's soft is very attractive. Mataji, do you feel a guy who's very soft, very calm and very composed, you get attracted? Because that's not inherited nature, but that's something which they like to dominate. Yeah, they are very dominant, right? So that's the establishment. So once my cousin was telling me that, I was asking, hey, how is your husband doing? She said, no, he's very nice, but you should always remember one statement. I remember this when I was really small. She said, what is this? She showed me a matchstick. And she said that if you call this a husband, even this will dance. So I think I probably was not even in high school. And I can remember this so well. Right? She told me this, and I was just in 10th when she was getting married. And she said, remember this, never forget this. So even a matchstick, Prabhus don't know offense. I'm just sharing what my cousin told. So if you're angry, I can share her contact number, you may contact her. But what happened is, this is the kind of impression people, right? So that is why they are taking Kshatriya, not because others should not be forgiving, because they are so much bigger and power. And the moment somebody surrenders, they will forgive. That is the quality. And this is the quality which Akarna, brother of Karna. I told you the story, and I told you, right? Told everyone to follow. They said Kshatriya should follow this Shama, and let's leave it here. Let's not take this forward and leave it. Sama Dukha Shama, right? You treat everything equally and you forget everything, right? And go ahead is what he was talking about. Next one is fortitude. Again, Satriyas, right? Satriya, which means mental and emotional strength. Any strength, look at Draupadi situation, everybody let her down, but she was a Satriya. She faced it. Emotional strength she had. She faced it, right? She did not go down. She was not looking down. So, okay, fine. Draupadi is come out of fire. What about Subhadra? Subhadra, her wedding was fixed with someone, right? And she, I've told you this love story of Subhadra. She was very dependent. She was in the palace of Balram. She's never come out. Balram has fixed. She was so scared to go against Balram because she had so much respect for Balram. And also she was getting disturbed by Brahmana, who was none other than Arjuna, but she didn't know. And that was also emotionally disturbing her. And then she had always had this deep-rooted love for Arjuna, right? This tension of getting someone to get married to someone and someone whom you hate. Right? In the kind of strength, and after getting married, she was taken, in a jiffy and agreed. But then after going there, also Draupadi never welcomed Arjuna. Forget about her. Right? But still, she went there, and that was also simplicity. She went and told Draupadi that I will be your servant. Right? I will serve you. And she is no less Krishna's sister. She is a queen. She's a princess, and she says, I don't need the kingdom. Right? I only need acceptance. Right? That is the strength. Right? And these are the extraordinary qualities. And forgiveness, you see, Draupadi forgave even Ashwamitra. She didn't want to kill him, and she told, let him go, because I don't want his mother to feel the same pain which I felt after he killed the children. What will we do? If one hits, stamps us and goes, forget about whether he did accidentally. First thing we'll feel like giving one punch to him or her, right? So that is the mentality, right? That's why we call ourselves Sudra. Cleanliness, again, but why Vaishyas is because Brahmanas anyway follow this cleanliness internally by mind and heart and externally by body. But Vaishyas are in the clean, right? No black mark, because they are dealing with a lot of people who are Sudras or other things, right? So black magic, under thing, or punting, buying and selling. Many of them tell investing in stock market is wrong. No. But then punting, use the word punting, where you buy and sell intraday, because your adrenaline comes up, that becomes strong. Freedom from envy is not resentful of another, right? You are not envious. So when does Krishna talk for the first time about envy? Anusuyave. When does it's also called Adrodho. For the first time. Hare Krishna, when does he talk for the first time? Can anyone remember when does he talk for the first time? Second chapter, no, it's second chapter. He tells he is using the word friend and Sakha, right? So when does he tell Anusuyave for the first time? He stays for the first time in the 9th chapter, right? 9th chapter is when he speaks for the first time. And freedom from the passion for honor, Nati Manita, right? So he's basically honor, must respect others, whoever it is. Never be puffed up for prestige, especially for Sudras, right? Because when Sudras suddenly are given power, they become overpowerful. Power is there, they don't know how to use power, right? Hare Krishna, with this we come to an end of the divine quality, and let's quickly see the demonic qualities. Hare Krishna, okay, I have to do the chat. Darpo Vimanascha, Parusyam Evacha, Ajnanam Chabijastasya, Vata Sampadam Ashuri. Hare Krishna.
Arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature. Oh, son of Partha.
Arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. So if you have any of the 6 quality, you have to give up. Raise your hand if you have 6 qualities. Or I will tell otherwise, raise your hand if you do not have a single quality of this. Not a single quality of this, raise your hand. And I will tell you, meanwhile, when I read this, I looked at Mr. Prabhu and he said, what are you looking blank? I said, Prabhu, I am demon. He said, why? I'm very harsh. So he's laughing. He said, every one of us he is very sweet, right? He does not have any of the quality, but he will always, he will put himself in the shoe. He said, harshness. No, Radhika, everybody will have one of these qualities. Right? Quickly, he started telling demonic. So he said, Acha. He said, okay, but forget about everybody. So the idea of this demonic quality is for us to come out of it. That is why Krishna is giving a list. And everybody will have this divine and demonic. Our idea is not to get overwhelmed by both. Don't feel so excited. You have many qualities which are divine, nor few qualities of demonic. Try now that you identified, reduce that and increase. It's very important, right? Because we don't know which one it is. And see, this elephant is moving each other. Right? So something or the other goes on. So this is the biggest challenge. 16.5. Devi sampad vimokshaya Nibandaya surimata masucho sampadam devi abhijato pandava. Hare Krishna. Please go ahead.
The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with divine qualities.
Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhu. So the transcendental qualities are conducive, means are favorable for liberation, but demonic qualities will make you tie up for bondage, attachment. Now, the 16th chapter is about how we can get detached, like the 15th chapter talks about detached the sword of knowledge, right? So we need this knowledge, because if we do not have the knowledge of demonic, we will come more into the bondage, right? Don't worry, you are born of divine quality. Anybody in this room have a feeling that Arjuna has got any one of the Asuri quality here? Pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and any of you? Because if you feel it's time, because Krishna is giving this, that you are born with divine quality. So he's giving that assurance to Arjuna. Why? Because Arjuna has been thinking that killing people is demonic. Sin. He's telling, don't worry, you are doing only your duty and you are always born with divine quality. So transcendental qualities are conducive for liberation, demonic are bondage. And encourages Arjuna to be born of the saintly qualities, right? That is a special. Krishna considers Arjuna is born of saintly qualities. His fighting is not demonic. It is because since Arjuna considers the pros and cons, right? Arjuna considers all the pros and cons so well, and this is the reason. But he does consider the pros and cons, and then only tells he doesn't. The regulatory principles of different orders of life is transcendental. Right? Kshatriya shooting arrow at Devini is considered transcendental, and not doing so is not demonic. Why? Because if a Kshatriya, remember I told all of you to be in the battlefield. So imagine if your commander-in-chief takes a gun and tells, I don't want to kill. He is indirectly killing all of us. Because the enemy is not going to keep quiet. His sword is going to come and cut us deep. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, so that is very important. So that knife should not be cut. So please focus on your on not doing some qualities. Example, doctor. I will tell you this, you will understand better. Doctor is going and he is telling that yes, there is a tumor. I will remove. Okay, the tumor without removing the hand, but he goes and he sees there's a full spread of tumor, right? And he says, "Oh my God, I promised only tumor. I have to remove hand. I'll drop." Goes, he tells, sorry, I could not remove the tumor. I'm going. Is it right? Will you tell that the doctor has done a good job? He promised he didn't keep up. He came and told sorry. Will you agree? Don't you feel it's a right thing? Do you feel it's a right thing or the wrong thing?
It's the wrong thing.
Right? Thank you, Prabhu. So this is what happens, right? So that is very important. And then you can take it forward. This is what it is. Another 5 minutes. Thank you. Sargo lokesmin Daiväsura evacha Daivo Vistara-sampad Ashuram patame shrinu. Hare Krishna.
Oh, son of Partha, in this world, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demonic. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now, hear from me of the demonic.
He says, thank you so much, Prabhu, very clearly, right? Two kinds of being, he says there. One is the divine, right? So, divine are demonic. Divine is and demonic are, atheists, right? So both demigods and demons are born of Prajapati. Both are born. So what is the difference? Now you all are going to tell what is the difference between divine and demonic. How do I differentiate? And what is it? So what is the difference?
Divine is
you already told.
Divine is a godly consciousness.
Sorry, Mataji, your voice is too feeble.
Godly consciousness, divine.
Godly consciousness is divine, but my mom keeps claiming that Ravana and Hiranyakashipu is also godly conscious. They prayed God. Because of the bhakti, only God's Devadas came. So they also had the so-called godly conscious, according to some people. So are they divine? Let me ask them. Are they divine? Hare, you should answer no. Is Ravana divine?
No.
Oh, no.
No, thank you. So we are clear, right? Okay. So what is that differentiating factor? Godly conscious is right, Mataji. But how do I define godly conscious?
By their actions.
How do I know which action? All your answers are right. Please go ahead and start.
Their thoughts, thinking God and all.
Everything is fine. Thoughts of thinking, but how do I know? What basis? So a 3-year child comes and tells, Mama, tell me how should I become divine?
The knowledge they have,
yes,
is it useful for the worldly beings, or are they going against the godly nature?
Right. So where do I get the knowledge? You're right. But where do I get that?
They are not following the Shastras. They are not following the Shastras, Vedic. So,
come back again. Can you repeat again? Once more what you said.
They are not following the Vedic Shastras.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes, based on Shastras. Anyone who follows the Vedas and Shastras, that is divine. And someone who doesn't follow is astray. Because all Ravana did, but it's based on the Vedas. So it's based on the regulative principles of the scripture. So we will end this chapter with section A, and B we will see demonic, because it's better to start the demon tomorrow. We will end with the divine. So we've done divine. So, let's give it a thought and let's sort of, eat or let's meditate the whole day in this and come back tomorrow with the. Now I'm not there on Monday. So is, what do you want? Do you want to do the 17th chapter on Wednesday, Thursday? Or do you want to do one chapter Wednesday, half of it, and then you want to do after I come back? How do you want to?
Yeah, however is convenient for you, Mataji.
What's convenient for you? So do you want, so shall we do one thing? We'll do one thing. And maybe do it on Wednesday and we will all see if it is overweight, if it is on Thursday. If you feel it's heavy, then I'll push it to Sunday. Is that okay? Shall we try? Will that make sense? So
sure, Mataji.
We will try one day on Wednesday, and if we feel we are all overwhelmed for the whole week in the morning, then we'll push it, right? So,
Okay.
chapter, I will do, obviously by then I'm back. And at 18th chapter, I need 3 days straight.
Mataji, we have Bhakti Shastra class on Wednesday.
Yes, Prabhu?
We have Bhakti Shastra classes on Wednesday morning.
Prabhu, I can't hear you. Your voice is going low.
Am I audible? No.
Yes, but very feeble.
Yeah. Actually, our Bhakti Shastra class is there on Wednesday from 5:30 a.m.
Shastri?
Bhakti Vriksha.
Oh, okay. On Wednesday, you have at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Up to what time, Prabhu?
It continues up to 7:38.
Oh, so long. Oh, okay. But then Saturday morning, do you have anything?
No, Saturday, Sunday we are okay.
Vriksha is a part of the same team, right? Same group.
Yes.
Same group.
So can we request the Bhakti Vriksha team to push it to Friday? Is that okay?
Friday also we have.
Is that okay?
Already we have on Friday.
Sorry?
Already we are having Bhakti Vriksha class on Wednesday and Friday.
Okay, then
days
we will do. Okay, then we'll do one thing, Prabhu. We'll have our class on. We'll have it tomorrow and we'll have it on Thursday. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thursday, you all don't have any class. Right? So we'll have it then. So
Yeah, Thursday no class, Mataji. Yeah.
Thursday, no class. So Thursday morning,
Yeah.
no problem. One session we'll have on Thursday and then one session we can have on Saturday. So we can be complete.
Sure. Okay, Mataji. Yeah.
Vancha kalpa darubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. All of you. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna. Any doubts? Do you all have any doubts? Do you have any doubt? Do you all have any doubt? I suddenly had a doubt. By mistake logged out. Any doubt?
Yeah, Mataji, I've got just one small doubt.
Yes, bro, please.
So, Mataji, what is that? What is the thing where it says whether we are born with both divine and demonic qualities, or is it?
Yes, we are born with bone. Currently in the Kali Yuga, we are not in the Yuga of Arjuna's time, not even in Dwapara Yuga, because you have clear differentiator. You see, Pandavas are all with demonic, with divine quality. There is no demonic quality. And if you see Duryodhana, he is born with a lot of demonic quality. Like Prabhu, I'll give you one more example. In Satya Yuga, we had Narsimha who came. And Narsimha Dev, when he came from spiritual world to the material world, right? Because Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad are in the material world. So two different worlds. And in the Treta Yuga, which is Rama's time, Rama came and he crossed the ocean, right? So that means he is Akkara. He's on the other side of the ocean, which means that he was in a different country. So the divine was on the city and the demonic was in the other side. Now in our Dwapara Yuga, or Krishna's time, if you see his enemy was Kamsa in the same family, right? For Pandavas also it's their own cousins. So the divine and demonic are within the family, right? In Kali Yuga, it's within our own heart. So we have Ravana also and we have Krishna also in the same heart. Rama also, right? So if you see, Prabhu, demonic means, why I tell is, if you ask a 3-year child, demonic she will tell is anybody who has, what do you call this, horn, right? You don't see all that now, but all of us are partly divine and partly demonic. Even the most abominable person will have something divine about him, one quality. And the best person you see today will also have some demonic, something demonic about the person. Right, so that is the most important point which I thought I will share. So this is a story which you should know that this is the quality of the divine and demonic.
So Mataji, is it right to say, let's say when a new child is born, so the child will have quality, but depending on the environment the child grows in, whether let's say grows in with the devotees, whether those qualities will grow or not.
Prabhu, there are 3 factors. One is a child by nature, right? So that is why you will see that a child who is 4 months or 5 months old has some quality. Like my friend's child in the age of 5 months used to 5 months, 6 months. When you keep the mashed rice, we normally give it milk, right? Or very dilute dal. But and very bland. If you see, you don't add so much salt or so much spice. or no, we only add ghee. That's also very less. But this child will never take that. It will take only when rasam is served. And that's too hot. I used to be wondering, I feel my tongue will be burnt if I eat the rice so hot. This is a small child. Why? Because there is this quality which the child has inherited, right? So the child is actually in mode of passion from 5 months, right? If you see, some children like a lot of sweets, some children like a lot of juice, some children like something hot. So these are impressions from the previous one. Second thing is environment plays a very vital role. Like for example, Prabhu, when you are talking to me, your style is very different, right? So your tendency is, right, cool, come and you're clarifying divine. Your thoughts are divine. You understand what I'm telling, right? Sadhu Sangha matters. But if let's say that you go to a office environment, right? You may not like it or not. You have to put up with it, right? So let's say that some of your colleagues are commenting something. Even if you don't like, you like not, right? So your environment plays a role. But ultimately, if your mind is under control, you're the boss, right? You're the boss of yourself. Why I say this is because Prahlad was born in a Asuric family. His environment was fully Asuric. His friends were Asuric. For them, they never read Vedas, and according to them, Hiranyakashipu, and he gave a lot of respect. He said, Father, you're the greatest. But what happened? Nothing changed, right? He was always serving. So the fact is, if you put an endeavor, Krishna will help you. Even if you're in an Adharmic family, even if you do not have transcendental knowledge, that knowledge will come to you. Somehow he will give you. But you need to want, you need to have the want. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other doubts, Prabhu? I want to keep the floor open today for somebody to tell a story. Mohandas Prabhu, you are going to make someone in this group tell a story, otherwise we will tell a story. Choice is yours. What?
It's an interesting responsibility, Mataji.
In fact, I also wanted to tell a story, which either you will tell today or tomorrow, but I can give, because I always tell one story compulsory from my books. If I have not told you, I'm telling you now. So you can tell them, you can make them tell a story, or you will tell a story. So I give.
Okay.
May I ask? Don't get confused. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
May I ask Shyam Prabhu to tell a story today? Shyam Prabhu?
Story means not life story, devotional stories.
Yeah, of course.
No, Prabhuji, you have to give me time. All of a sudden, if you say it is very difficult.
Anything is okay, Prabhuji. Anything from what...
Yes, I would like to hear, no? Whatever you tell.
Today, actually...
whatever story.
Shall I tell one story, Prabhuji? I just recently heard.
Sure.
From the devotees. It's a very small story.
Sure.
Arun okay? Prabhu, will you keep your video on, or you're not wearing your makeup?
Mataji, actually, I'm outside, so...
okay, Prabhu, no problem. Go ahead, we will hear.
It's a very small story.
Yes.
So it is a story when Lord Ram was actually on the shore. He wanted to cross the ocean, go to the Sri Lanka. So what happened was, like, he was thinking like how to cross the big ocean. I mean, he was so powerful. He can, if he wanted, he could just cross it because he was powerful. But he wanted the entire Sena, Vanar Sena, to also come along with him. So he was thinking what to do and what to do. So then the rocks, when they started falling onto into the ocean, with the rocks had the word written Ram, and then they started floating. When he saw that these rocks started floating, he was amazed, like, okay, the rock had Ram written on it, and then it started floating. So what he did was, Lord Ram, he took one stone. He said, okay, I will try. He said, okay, he just wrote Ram on that stone. So Lord Ram himself wrote his name on the stone, and then threw the stone into the ocean. Then what happened? That stone did not float. He said, "Oh, what happened? Maybe something wrong." Then he will try again. So he wrote it again. That he took one stone, and then again another stone, and then he wrote Ram, and then he threw it again. Then that also did not float. So he was thinking like, oh, what happened? I mean, why it did not float? I mean, why it did not float for me? So Lord Hanuman was, looking at this. So Lord Hanuman said that Prabhu, you already know this. I mean, why are you doing this? You already know this. So Lord Ram says, no, I don't know. And um, so Lord Hanuman says, okay, when Lord Hanuman does the same, and then it floats. So the story was actually, the moral of the story was actually the stone itself. When Lord Ram was doing the stone itself was thinking that he is getting, Lord Ram is taking him away from himself. So that's why it did not float. But when the devotees does, by writing his name, it floats. But when the Lord Ram himself does it, the stone itself thinks that Lord Ram is throwing them away from himself. That's why
okay, he's throwing him away. Okay.
The stone itself is throwing him away. That's why it did not float. So the stone also has that feeling. It also feels that the Lord Ram is with him. So when Lord Ram just take them away, then he also feels bad and doesn't float. Yeah. So
okay, so you're telling the stone is feeling bad that Ram is throwing him away from him, and therefore it's not floating. Is my understanding correct, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. That is so nice. I didn't know this. So thanks so much. So anybody would like to tell a story? Next 4 days, I want to hear from each devotee. So if you all can prepare and come, I'm okay even if you prepare a presentation or orally you want to do. And Arun Prabhu, I think you have nice collection of stories. I would like you also to enlighten us with some stories. Thank you so much. And please, all of you get prepared, start doing your certificates, because it's high time you all are going to enter into level 3, right? So you'll need both certificates. Selection criteria is clearly 2 certificates. So if you do not have the certificate, search and keep, download and keep. And for level 2, please finish the quizzes, keep them on date so that you will not have too much time in 1 week's time, because my evening batch is complete, right? 18th day. So probably you will not have so much time, because they have so much time. Today, maybe this week we'll finish the 17th chapter, next week we'll finish 18th chapter, and the week after that we will go live. Right? Because along with me, I think Namanishta Prabhu is also running a morning batch. So his batch also will get over. So we have 2 batches in the morning, and already the rest of the batches, evening batches, 2 batches, his batch, which I'm taking. And I think one more Mataji is, no, that's it. His batches, they got over. So we will have 3-4 batches in a row, but we will finish only late. So we won't have time. So I request each one of you to finish and keep the quizzes and certificates ready. Is that fine? And tomorrow, as you will connect again at 6 a.m. in the morning. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, do you want to play Prabhupada's video?
Okay, Mataji. Just give me a second.
Sure. And I'll be very happy if you all can keep the video mode on. But if you feel video mode is a challenge, then it's okay. So please go ahead and tell me a story. Why don't we nominate someone who's going to tell a story tomorrow? Any Mataji? Supriya Mataji, Shobana Mataji, Sandhya Mataji. And if I've not called anybody's name, you can still volunteer. Manjari Mataji. Hare Krishna. It's only we should start. Yes.
You can tell a story, Mataji.
Who's that?
Rajan.
Yes, Prabhu. Please, no problem. Please go ahead. Tomorrow, story time from you. And Shyam Prabhu also, you told okay, right? Because
yes, Mataji, I will be prepared. I will tell some story.
Yeah, so tomorrow from Shyam Prabhu, and we will have one story. Rajan. Yes.
Good, Mataji.
Thank you so much. 1 second, I'll go mute it so Prabhu can enjoy Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'll just share now.
When Krishna wanted to know, Arjuna wanted to know from Krishna how much your potency is extended, how you are working, I want to know. Because he is inquisitive, Brahma Jignasa, he is trying to understand what is God. And God is personally replying. So he has stated in that chapter that I am this amongst these. I am this among these. I am this. Then he summarizes that how much I shall say. Just try to understand me, my potency. That this material world, there are innumerable universes, and each universe there are innumerable planets. So I want in every one of them, Vistabha, Aham, Idam, Krishnam, all of them, and I maintain. Just like Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, then similarly Krishna is situated in everything, even within the atom. That is Krishna. We want to imitate Krishna, but if we are asked that you enter into the atom, that I cannot. No. Krishna, God means he can be become that the greater than the greatest. We can conceive of the greatest, the universe. So, not only this universe, but many millions of universes, they are being created from the wholes of his bodily hair. Jashaika nishasita kala mathavalamba jivanti loma bilaja jagadanna natha. That is God. We have got many millions of holes on our body. Only God has got Mahavishnu, and from that hole, universes are coming out continually, breathing. Just shaika nishasita kala. So you must have what is the conception of God? Greater than the greatest and smaller than the smallest. That is God. He can produce these big universes simply by breathing. And again, we do not know how many atoms are there in each universe. He can enter in each atom. Annantarasthang paramanu chayantarasthang ilkaprasaurachayatam jagadanna koti Dachaktirasti jagadanna chayajadantang andantarasthang paramanu chayantarasthang govindamadi purisam tamamaya. This is the conception of God. So, here, the proposal is that we are suffering, we are simply thinking that in future, and before that future comes, we become finished. This is our position. Not only once, but many times. Still I wear it's like the so-called scientists. Millions of years gap, and then this will be happening, this will be happening. No, these are all nonsense. And how your age is 50 or 60 years, how you are conceiving of millions of years. Your 50, 60 years of age will be millions times finished before you realize it. And the so-called scientists no, the 50, 60 years is large extent of span of life. In that way, you cannot understand. That is not possible. If you speculate in the foolish way for Chirang, eternally, still you cannot. Chirang Vichirang. Thapiti Devapadam Vijatnam Prasadali Khanu Bhishmati Janati Tattang Bhagavat Mahila Nacharna Eko Chirang. Chirang means eternally if you speculate to understand God by your finite brain and limited self-perception. Take the prescription of the Shastra. One. The first is that you must become material attachment. Nirvita. Material attachment, so long I will be attracted by material things, Krishna will give me a relative body. Tatha dehandara prapti. If we want this temporary material enjoyment, then according to the body there is enjoyment. In the ant's life, there is also the same thing, eating, sleeping, sex and defense. And in the Lord Indra's or the King Indra, the heavenly king, he has all the same propensity, eating, sleeping, mating and defense. So if you go to the moon planet or sun planet or the topmost planets, wherever you go, the four things will follow. Eating, sleeping, mating, defense, and birth, death, old age and disease.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, thank you so much. Hare Krishna, all of you. And we will again meet tomorrow 6 o'clock. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you can stop recording.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much. And looking forward for your stories tomorrow.